Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our online Bhagavad Gita session. And as usual, we will discuss from one topic. We'll pick up one topic from Bhagavad Gita and discuss it today along with everyone. And we'll all get chance to participate in the group discussion as well. So, topic for today we have picked up is laws for life, and this is we will refer to couple of things. We'll refer to one lecture Srila Prabhupada has given on this topic in Seattle, and also we will link it to one of the verse in Bhagavad Gita. There are many verses in Bhagavad Gita which talks about this regulating our life, the importance of regulation of life. But one particular verse which we will be discussing today is a 16.7, 16 chapter 7th verse. We will link the two and try and understand what Prabhupada has to say about laws, rules and regulation for our lifetime. In general, if we were to think about rules, we don't think about rules in a very positive way. The moment we say, there is to say that the first word written in religion was no. Why? Because following religion means they will not let you do one, two, three, four, five things. No, they say no to everything. Religion kind of say no to everything. And that's why the first word written in any religious scripture is no. That's not a that's on a lighter note, not on a serious note, but in general, rules, laws, regulations, do's, don'ts, kind of make all of us uncomfortable. It's not really nobody really feels happy that when Narottam Prabhuji explained offenses, what you cannot do while chanting. 10 offenses during chanting to be avoided during chanting. Those are don'ts. You can't do those things. You can't blaspheme devotees. You can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those 10 things you can't do. So they kind of put restrictions on us. Uh, and at times, we may feel that if we don't have those restrictions, we could live a very happy, free, life where we can follow our heart. And nowadays, this is very commonly said terminology in the modern world, that to follow your heart, do what you feel like, do what you desire. Life is short. Why waste it following so many rules and regulation? And you will be happy, following your heart, you will be happy. You do whatever you want to do without any restrictions, and then that will make you happy. That's a kind of a theory that is propagated in the world today. So, point for discussion is really what do we really like rules and regulation? Should we really have them, or could we have been better off by having a lawless world? I'm just saying it's broadening it to our, not only limiting it to our society like ISKCON or International Society for Krishna Consciousness, or the society where we live. Could be locality where we live, Vile Parle, in Mumbai, Belapur for somebody, Thane for somebody else, or a state, Maharashtra state, or Karnataka state, or some other state, or even the country, or even the world. In general, there are rules to be followed at every step. Now, had we not had those rules, do's, don'ts, would it not have been a better world for all of us? That's the topic for today's discussion, and I would love to hear from all our distinguished devotees. So I'll stop sharing. You can raise hands, and we can hear. We'd love to hear from all of you. So I hope the question is clear. I'll open the chat box also. So if anybody is putting anything in the chat box, I can read that. Yeah, please feel free to raise hands. Vikas Babu's hand is raised, but I will go to him later. Speaker is muted by mistake. I can unmute you, Mataji. Madhuri Mataji, you need to unmute your end. I cannot unmute you. I can't hear. Oh, you're not able to hear. So should I play the slide? Should I show the slide again? Is my audio not clear? Because
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
yes,
Hopefully,
Prabhuji.
Mataji has not chosen that option, that Wi-Fi, and that is why his speaker or your sound is won't be going to him, her actually.
But
Till the time
otherwise, it
she
is
won't.
okay, correct?
No, it is fine, Prabhuji.
All right.
Hare
So
Krishna.
the question we are putting up is, do we like laws, rules, and regulations and do's or don'ts? Or could we have been better off by not having any rules and regulations? That's the question. Yeah, feel free to raise hand so that we can start the discussion. Yeah, Vikas Prabhuji, I think nobody wants to say anything, so please. Yes, Jamuna Mata, we will go to you first. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I think rules and regulations are required because then only there will be a discipline in the society. Otherwise, people will do as per their wish and will, and then everything will be a chaos here.
Chaos. Okay, everything will lead to chaos if we'll not have rules and regulations. But do we really like rules, or we just think they are necessary?
No, we may not like it at times, but then it is necessary because not everybody would follow certain thing. On their own, they won't follow. So certain restrictions have to be imposed upon these people. So, on myself also, if there were certain restrictions not applicable, I too would do something as per my wish, which may not be appreciated by others or which may be a hindrance to the others.
Would be harmful for others as well. Yeah. Okay.
So I think rules and regulations are required.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Mukund Prabhuji, yes, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
So
Krishna.
rules and regulations are required so long as they are democratically made. Like most of people believe that those are correct. Otherwise, people may feel that those are not in their interest.
Okay, so as long as there is a wider acceptance, wider agreement to those rules, they should still be made in a democratic way. Yeah, that way the rule of income tax, should not be made, because if you take a poll, people will say no income tax is needed. But yes, I take the point that it should not be, it should not be enforced illegally, and it should be created using considering consulting different sections of society, so that it has a wider representation and agreement amongst the society. Thank you so much for that. Yes, Swapnil Prabhuji, Umesh Prabhuji, and Bikram Prabhuji, and then Vikas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Basically, rules and regulations, it seems that it is bothering that freedom and independence. So personally, I feel people take it up that most rules and regulations, they mean that there won't be any freedom. But for the proper discipline of the society, yes, rules and regulations are required. And as you rightly said, acceptance should be there and there should be a common mandate. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Umesh Prabhuji, thank you so much, Swapnil Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
रूल्स और रेगुलेशन जो फॉलो करता है उसको ही रिवॉर्ड्स मिलते हैं जैसे हम लोग बहुत सारे एग्जांपल देख सकते हैं ट्रैफिक सिग्नल है वो हमारे लिए नेसेसरी है इवन हम लोग अगर क्रिकेट या फुटबॉल का भी अगर एग्जांपल लेते हैं सचिन तेंदुलकर हैं वो अगर किसी मैदान के ऊपर ऐसे ही दौड़ते हुए निकला, तो वो जो रन बनेंगे उसका कोई ये नहीं रहता है। लेकिन जब कोई मैच होती है तो उसमें कुछ रूल्स होते हैं, रेगुलेशंस होते हैं, वो फॉलो करते करते अगर वो रन्स बनाता है तो उसको रिवॉर्ड मिलता है। तो रूल्स और रेगुलेशन हर जगह पे हमें चाहिए ही चाहिए। हरे कृष्णा।
Yeah, I like the example of traffic signal. We not really, we may not, if we don't follow them, those rules, we may reach nowhere. Thank you so much. Yeah, Bikram Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Prabhuji, you can unmute.
Yes. Prabhuji, so rules and regulations are required because of whenever you set any of the objectives. So wherever you go in terms of, as Prabhuji said, for the traffic rules, or if you are going in an army, and wherever you went, so there they have set up some of the objective. For achieving those objectives, there must be some guidelines in which are in terms of rules and regulations. So which will give you a right path for achieving those objectives, and it can vary person to person, mainly so how much he likes, because of if the task and the objective which are giving helpful to him, like for achieving, so definitely those rules are also he would like. So yeah, so mainly the rules are very necessary for achieving those objectives with the right
Yeah.
way.
So I think the common theme that I'm hearing is that they are necessary, and not really. My heart may not like it, but my head say that is required. That seems to be a common theme. Vikas Ruji, and then Divisha and Mili Mataji, and then we'll stop.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. So, as you have asked two questions, that do we like the rules and regulations? So, our emergence to this materialistic world is the result that we don't like the rules per se, and most of the time we are in those modes. And as you rightly mentioned, that income tax laws, that no one likes, that this is my hard-earned money, why I should give it. But at the backdrop of it, if we see to it that the government is giving us so much of protection, that no one is means violating our personal freedom for that matter, so those are very much required. But why we not like it is because our choice is that we never want to be under the control of anyone else. We just want to be out, means in a free life where I am the controller of my own life. We want that kind of society. And our rules are necessary. The second question, that if there can be a lawless society, so the answer is clearly no. Otherwise, because we will be always lamenting for something or other, like the who will be the mightier here, he will be ruling us and we will be under his control. So it is, and the conclusion out of it is that if the society is as such that anyone can control us, it is always better to be in the control of Krishna. So we will be ultimately in our constitutional position always. So it is true that we don't like rules, but rules are uh, uh, actually for the welfare or well-being, for the well-being of the individual, and those should be liked by the mind and not by the heart. And the similarly, that whatever heart says, that is always taking us on the alluring path, and that is not taking us to the right path, because that is not the informed, well thought decision of the heart. That is emotional decision, and that is always going to be wrong because it does not know the pros and cons of it. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandvat Pranam. You are on mute, Prabhuji. Often.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry. So heart will always give you wrong signals. So don't follow heart, follow head, and then you will be, and might as well remain under Krishna's control. If anybody, anyway you have to be controlled, then might as well be under Krishna's control. Okay, thank you so much, Divisha, and then Mili Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, I agree with Vikas Prabhuji that he said that we don't like rules, and no one wants to get, they want to become a ruler of their life. That is nowadays, even teenagers all they say, keep saying, my life, my rules. I'll do what I want to do. They don't want to get controlled by anyone. And No one likes rules, but I believe that they are very important, because if there are no rules, it takes us to irreligion as well. Like we see that people nowadays, kids, teenagers, they smoke, and it has become so common, and for them it is not wrong. It comes under don'ts. It is hazardous. It harms others also. But just because they want to follow my life, my rules, they don't feel it is wrong. Instead, they feel it is cool, and which is so wrong. And for this purpose, we rules are very important. And because if we do what we want to do, our mind is very vigilant. It takes us anywhere, and we will keep listening to it. And I mean, it destroys. It may destroy a lot of things, life also, and people around us, and there is no religion left in this. So, irrespective, we like it, we don't like it, but rules should be there, and you know, sorry, that we should follow those rules. We should also force ourselves, and we should make ourselves understand that these rules are important in order to maintain our life, in order to keep religion, in order to respect things. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for valuable contribution, Divisha. Billy Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I also feel कि rules are very important and much required in our life. क्योंकि ये रूल ही है प्रभु जी जो हमें लाइफ में अलाइंड रखता है. एंड सही में बहुत लोगों को रूल्स पसंद नहीं है. बट अगेन कमिंग टू द एग्जांपल ऑफ रेड लाइट, आई मीन ट्रैफिक सिग्नल, अगर हमारे मन में डर होता है कि कहीं पे ट्रैफिक पुलिस खड़ा है, वो देख लेगा, हमारी चालान हो जाएगी, समथिंग मे हैपन टू अस, तो ये रूल ही है जो हमारे अंदर एक डर पैदा करता है, जो हमें लाइफ में अलाइन रखता है. एंड ठीक है, बहुत लोग मानना नहीं चाहते, इसीलिए रेड लाइट भी जंप करते हैं कई लोग, एंड दे मीट देयर फेट देयर ओनली. तो मेरे हिसाब से रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस आर वेरी मच नेसेसरी इन आवर लाइफ, एंड वी शुड फॉलो डूज एंड डोंट्स.
Okay, thank you so much. So, made an important point that those who don't follow rules are subjected to punishment. And okay, and then people, society in general, does not look at them with a high spirit or proudly. You know, they are considered to be criminals, and criminals are not really accepted or respected in the society. So they are looked down upon. All those who don't follow rules so are looked down upon. So it's not a very respectable position to be on by breaking rules. Quickly in the chat box, we have Ashwini Kumar Shukla Prabhuji mentioning, without any rules and there will be utter chaos in the society. Society cannot survive if laws are not there. Jigna Mataji is saying laws, rules, regulations are required to follow if we have to lead a life which is at most sinless. Acceptance with deeper understanding of it is significance. Okay, Jyoti Mataji is saying rules are required if we are non-Krishna conscious. Rules and regulations are required if we are non-Krishna consciousness. If we are, Jyoti Mataji, I couldn't understand. Rules and regulations are required if we are non-Krishna conscious. What does it mean? If you would like to elaborate on this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, my point was like, if we are following Krishna consciousness, then we are definitely under control of Krishna. And if we are not following Krishna consciousness, then we have to follow the human being man-made rules, what we have to follow.
Understood. Yeah, that's very well my point. Yeah. There's echo. Hare Krishna. Yeah, we are good. So yes, a lot of good suggestions and a lot of good points made, and we'll be discussing on these lines only, more or less. And thank you everyone for your enthusiastic participation. And we will so what we are going to do today is, as I mentioned earlier, we'll look at one lecture given by Srila Prabhupada in Seattle. This is got published in this got published in one of the book called The Journey of Self-Discovery by Srila Prabhupada. So we'll look at some points made by Srila Prabhupada. This Seattle is in America, and so he was giving a class there in which he spoke as below. We'll look at some of these some sections of from this lecture, and we will link it to our 16.7th verse of Bhagavad Gita, which we will also look at during the later part of our class. So as I mentioned, this is from extract from the Journey of Self-Discovery. This is one of the chapter. This lecture appears as one of the chapter in this particular small book, where Prabhupada is the theme here is all people in this world need to be guided from darkness to light. And Prabhupada starts with Om Adhyanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. That I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who has opened my eyes which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance, and with a torchlight of knowledge. So the Shalakaya is the torchlight, Jnananjana Shalakaya, the torchlight of knowledge. And who is doing it? Is my spiritual master is doing it. So this is role of a spiritual master to show light or light of knowledge, torchlight of knowledge, to guide people or the souls wandering in this deep, dark material world from darkness to light, from darkness to light. And this is the role of a spiritual master. Prabhupada goes further on saying that everyone in this material world is born into ignorance or darkness, which is the nature of this material world. In 16th 15th chapter earlier, we have seen that how this material world is illuminated by sun, moon, and fire. And Krishna says, I am those, I am that. Without me, the sun would not be there, moon would not be there, and the fire will not have its ability to give light and heat, which are the two important aspects that fire also provide. And the sun also provides, moon also provides light. And without these three elements, and there are none of the whole material world would have remained to be a dark planet. And so it is. And then Krishna contrasts this, that this is the nature of the material world, that this is dark, there's a darkness, there's a darkness in terms of light, and there's darkness in terms of ignorance, knowledge also. So there's a dark, both levels there is a darkness. There's actually darkness because there is no, it's a lack of light, and there is no knowledge also. So that is also tamo, ignorance, full with ignorance. And that's what this material world nature is. And Krishna says that, and in contrast to this, Krishna describes his own dham, which is, he says, everything is self-illuminous. It does not require sun, it does not require moon, and it does not require fire for illumination, because my planet is self-illuminated. Na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko na pavakaha. Which means my planet does not need sun, moon, and fire for the purpose of illumination. They can be there. The sun is there when Krishna wants to go to forest with cows and play with his Gopa friends. So for that to happen, sun has to be there. So sun is there. So when Krishna wants to perform rasa dance pastimes with gopis, he can't do that in sun. So he asks, sun goes and moon comes, and whenever he wants, full moon comes, and then they perform rasa dance pastimes. So like that, everything is there, but it is required, it is utilized by Vrunda Devi, by Yoga Maya, to the extent it is required for the purpose of a particular pastime. But otherwise it is not required. The sun can go, moon can come the moment Krishna wants to have rasa dance, and the moon can go and sun can come when Krishna wants to go to forest. It all depends on this, on Krishna's desire, and how the moon, sun, and the moon, sun, and the fire can serve Krishna in their capacity, personal capacity. The focus is on service, not so much on the cycle of nature that has to be followed, and the rules has to be followed that way. So, so that's how. Without the sunlight, moonlight, and fire or electricity, this nature will be dark, will be a dark place, and that's a scientific fact. So everyone born in this material world, from Brahma to ant, is born into darkness of ignorance. So as I said, there's a darkness, actual darkness, and there's a darkness of ignorance also. That's a lack of knowledge, because people come here, there's no spiritual knowledge available immediately. It has to be searched, and that search becomes successful with the help of a spiritual master is required. That's why it is said that spiritual master is required to open eyes of a person in darkness, so that he can start his journey towards light. Now that Vedic injunction, there's a verse, tamasaima jyotirgamaha, that don't remain in darkness, come to the light. So the Vedic injunction says that maybe you have fallen in darkness, maybe you're in darkness at the moment, but that doesn't mean that you should remain there forever. Your effort should be to move towards the light, and for this a spiritual master is required. And it is the Prabhupada said very categorically that it is duty of the spiritual master to open the eyes of a person in darkness with the torch of knowledge, and one should offer one's respectful obeisances unto such spiritual master. So important thing is, it is duty of a spiritual master to do what, to not get those people to engage in worshipping him himself, saying that he himself is that God, or he only is the incarnation of God, and he is the worshipable object for everyone. Don't engage his followers in worshipping him, but show them the real God and engage them in worshipping, in his worship only. That is the role of a spiritual master. So he's not, it is a duty, and if anybody does not do this, he's probably not a bona fide spiritual master. He could only be doing this to earn money, or to earn respect in the society, or to earn the life's necessities for his own survival. Following such spiritual master will lead you nowhere. And so that's why Prabhupada says very categorically, that is the duty of a spiritual master to open eyes of the person in darkness with the torch of knowledge, and he will define what is knowledge. So so people should not be kept in darkness, they should be brought into the light. Therefore, in every human society, there is a religious institution of some sort. That is the purpose of religion. And how it is done, how people are carried from darkness to light, is through a institution of religious institution. And Prabhupada was speaking in America, and he spoke elaborately about Christianity, and Christianity, Islam, and Jewish religion, and also the Buddhism and Jainism. So, but his central point is, be it any religion, it is job of that religion and the religious leaders, the spiritual masters of those in those particular religion, to carry people from darkness to ignorance with the torch of knowledge. Now, what that knowledge is, what that light is, Prabhupada says categorically again very clearly that light is the supreme personality of Godhead. And what is that light? That light is the supreme personality of Godhead. So, which means now if you replace supreme personality of Godhead with the previous slide, we will understand that it is duty of a spiritual master to lead people in darkness towards supreme personality of Godhead, bring them closer to Krishna. Supreme personality of Godhead is Krishna himself. So if it's duty of every religion is to take people who are right now away from God to close towards God, or to closer to God, so that their happiness, they can they can become happier, they can become knowledgeable, and they can follow the instructions given by the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam states it's a conversation between Yamadutas and Yamraj. After they goof up, they try to they try to take Ajamil's soul, thinking that he's a sinful person, and later he's saved by Vishnu Dutas. And then there is a big quarrel that happens between Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas, both claiming ownership of that soul. Vishnu Dutas give list of horrible things that Ajamil has done and says we have right over this particular soul. He has to go to hell. How can you come here to protect him? What is your understanding? What is your what is that? There could be some misunderstanding on your part that you are trying to come and save Ajamil. He is a perfect customer of ours. So, and then, but Vishnu Duta chastises those Yamadutas, and they make them run away, and then they go back to Yamraj saying that, boss, we went there, and then those people came who were looking like Lord Vishnu himself with four arms, blue body, and they chastised us, and they made us run from that place, and they didn't let us do our job, and we thought you are supreme and you are the boss of this whole process of death, but it seems there are, you also seems to be having a boss. They said, you don't know, go and ask your master. So, and then this beautiful conversation happens between Yamraj and Yamadutas, where Yamraj is explaining that Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranita. Whatever Krishna speaks, whatever Bhagavan speaks is Dharma, and nothing else is Dharma. And nobody else can manufacture Dharma. And whatever Krishna has spoken is summarized in Bhagavad Gita, in summarized in Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, instructions given in Bhagavad Gita, instructions, examples that are appearing in principle that are discussed in Bhagavatam, they become the torch light for human beings. They become the this is the torch of knowledge with which people should move from darkness to light. So, and Prabhupada gives an example of similar examples that we discussed, that every state there are laws that we must follow, and the head of state gives some laws, and we as a good citizen, if we are a good citizen, we will obey those and live peacefully. And that's true. As long as we follow all laws, we are living a peaceful life. We may get a question here there from income tax office for clarification, but generally, if you are a good corporate citizen, if you are a good citizen of India, you would be paying all due taxes and you would be living a peaceful life. And that's what every advertisement coming from income tax says, that pay taxes and live peacefully. Why you want to live in anxiety by trying to avoid taxes, by trying to cheat the governments? So Prabhupada also makes a similar point that these laws may be different, and he acknowledged that India law could be different than laws in America, and then those will be different in the ones which are enacted in UK and Australia and Africa and Japan. There are that the variation is primarily due to time and place and people, where who to whom, and the culture of that place. So there are many factors which comes into play, but in general, Prabhupada says that there are law in every state, in every geography there are laws. Every village can have laws, every taluka can have law, every district can have certain laws, every state can have certain laws. Then there are state laws, then there are central laws, and there are central laws, and then there are common central geopolitical laws which are made, or agreements which are signed, which define rules and regulations of trade between few countries, a group of countries, G10, G20, or United Nations, and it can go on expanding. um, but we try to create order in the world using those laws. So the laws are there to stay. One has to abide by the law, Otherwise, one is considered to be the lowest in the society, a criminal, and subject to punishment. This is general principle. Similarly, religion means to obey the laws of God. That's all. Any religion, Prabhupada says, is created to obey the laws of God. And if a human being does not obey the laws of God, he is no better than an animal. In the picture that you can see, there's a bull and there's a cow. Earth has appeared there as a cow, and dharma has appeared as a bull. Dharma has only one leg, that is truthfulness. All other four legs are not there, because now this dharma has come to the Kali Yuga, on the verge of Kali Yuga, on starting of Kali Yuga. And then here is Parikshit Maharaj with sword in his hand, and Kali is the person who is standing below, and he's been given benediction that he can stay in these four places, and the fifth one is gold, and the four places are brothels, your gambling houses, slaughterhouses, and where all the intoxications happen. And this is how these four places Kali can stay, and Parikshit Maharaj understood that it is his time to depart the world, and Kali will start his rule later, as the Kali Yuga will follow and progress. So he didn't kill him for the offense that he did of hitting this bull, who was standing on one feet, and the cow, who was also looking extremely miserable. So he didn't, though this is an action which is punishable by death, Parikshit Maharaj didn't kill Kali. So, but he let him stay in these four places until such time uh, his uh, his presence, his present in this in this world. so so the laws were broken, and kings will give punishments. Wherever the laws are broken, the kings, those will be punishable offenses. And and the important point is the religion, these laws of society, the laws for people are implemented through religion, because the laws given by Krishna are laws implemented with the help of a religion. These are the laws, same laws are implemented with the help of a religion. Religion does not manufacture its own laws, new laws. They have to obey the laws of God, and they have to help people obey laws of God. That's the role of a religion. That's all. If a human being does not obey the laws of God, he is no better than an animal. All scriptures, all religious principles are meant to elevate man from the animal platform to human platform. All scriptures, all religious principles are meant to elevate man from the animal platform to human platform. Why? Because for at the animal level, there are no laws. There is no law made for dogs, for cows, for calves, for goats, for chickens, for tigers, for deer. So there are no laws made for birds, insects. There are no laws. This is a lawless population in this world. Only lawless population is animal population. And if a human being choose to live a lawless life, he is no better than an animal. Prabhupada says this very bluntly. And so the scriptures, what is the role of a scripture? What is the role of a religious principle? Is to elevate people. So the movement from darkness to light is this movement. That movement from animal platform to human platform. Therefore, a person without religious principle, without God consciousness, is no better than an animal. The famous verse comes in is this, that ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanyametat pashubhir ramana dharmo dharmo hi tesha dham adhiko visheshah dharmena hina hi pashubhi samanaha. That eating, sleeping, ahara nidra bhaya maithunam cha, ahar, that is eating, nidra, sleeping, bhaya is a defense, the out of fear one will defend, and maithunam cha, that is having sex life for reproduction. These are common principles between both humans and animals. The distinguishing factor is, however, the that the man can have reasoning capability, questioning capability, thinking capability, and logical intelligence. They can question about God. They can ask. They can search after God. They can ask question that why did they landed up in this situation, in this horrible situation where they are forced into womb of a mother, then they have to live a life for certain years, and then they have to die, and they have to repeat this process. What is the purpose of living such life when I can't live perpetually? Because this is happening against my desire. My desire is to be young forever. My desire is to live forever. My desire is not to fall sick ever. But much against my desire, I am forced to get old, I am forced to get disease, and I am forced to die. And that is not end. I am forced to take birth again. So everything is happening against my desire. Then what is the purpose of my living? Now, this questioning can happen only in the human life. And otherwise, if those who are not asking these questions, Prabhupada says that they are living life that of an animal, no difference at all. Dvipa the Pashu. So the four regulative principles that are the rules or the do's and don'ts, these are the don'ts, are the no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sexual relationships. Now, these are, when Prabhupada spoke this in 1965, 66, 67, he spoke this in America, which reject all four regulatory principles. In fact, their behavior is exactly opposite. They had all kind of illicit relationships. In those times, the marriage institution was very weak. Even then, it's becoming worse now. The divorce rates are going up nowadays. The divorce rate are not does not matter because people don't get married only. To get divorced, you need to get married. But in America or in the Western world, the concept of marriage has almost vanished, or just become non-existent, or become just old process, old thought. It has remained. So the illicit relationships are extremely high. Gambling is a capital. Las Vegas is a capital of gambling. It's wherever there is opportunity, people provide this facility. Make people make laws so that they can, state governments can collect a lot of revenue through these casinos. But gambling is promoted. Intoxication is promoted because people, again, state governments or central governments can collect a lot of revenue through sale of alcohol in the society. The cigarettes come with a warning that it is injurious to health, but it is made widely available across societies. Every college will have a cigarette shop right opposite, and it and it will always be crowded, no matter which rate is inflation is. Inflation is 9%, 10%, 15%, or zero inflation. The cigarette shops and wine shops are always full, and the meat shops are always full as well. The butcher houses are promoted by government. The pink exports are growing for India. India also, the cattle meat is exported, and now we are designing sophisticated ways in which animals can be killed. So it's very, so the whole world is practically living in an opposite direction. So there is no purification, there is no satyam, there is no truthfulness, daya, there is no mercy. Because we have cow killing, we have animal killing, so there is no mercy, tapaha, there is no austerity, and there is no shaucham. There are illicit relationships, so there's no cleanliness, no intoxication, there's no control of mind that exists, and satyam, the gambling is all false, the all sports are all false. So the all four pillars of dharma are broken except for satyam. So the one leg bull is standing on the principle of truthfulness, because that's the only thing that is remaining in the world right now. And that will also eventually go. Just a minute. Yes. So, so this is unfortunately the world where we live in, and then no wonder this world is full with turbulence. No, this world is unhappy place. Um, that's how the nature is. So, so right now, so with the principle, the one principle that is truthfulness is what is going to save us in this Kali Yuga. So people are still wanting to be truthful. People are still so, and we can see it for ourselves that when we are trying to follow these principles and to what extent we are truthful, we may show something amongst the devotee circle. When we meet devotees, we can be humble, but when we are alone, do we really have that same humility, feeling of humility for towards our devotees? And that is the test that we all should take for ourselves, that each against each of these principle, against each of the devotional qualities we are expected to cultivate, how good or how far we have come. And we should have someone in the devotee circle with whom we should be able to share, not only meditate on ourselves all by ourselves, but also share it with some devotee friend who can then guide us through this, so that we actually can overcome our own problems. And there could be, because all these things are there, the anarthas are there, which are that could be there, which are pulling us down still, which are not letting us become purified, even though we may have understood everything in tattva, we may have accepted everything, or by our head might be saying yes, please follow all this, but our heart is still retaining those old propensities, old tendencies, and not letting intelligence function as it should be. So what it means is, then we are still holding on to those impurities within ourselves, which is not letting us become follow Krishna consciousness wholeheartedly. So again, something that we can still work upon with the help of a devotee friend, whom we should share what are our shortcomings, share where we are lacking in following the instructions given by Prabhupada and implemented by with the help of devotees. Laws of life. So unfortunately, Prabhupada goes on to say that unfortunately at present moment in every state, every society, people are trying to forget God. Some people publicly say there is no God, others say if there is God, he is dead, and so on and so forth. So they have built advanced civilization, make many skyscraper buildings, but they are forgetting that their advancement is dependent on God or Krishna. This is precarious condition of human society. And then Prabhupada goes on to explain with a beautiful story that a rat was very troubled, and he comes to a sadhu and explain him his situation, that he's always fearful. He's always living in anxiety. And sadhu asks what is the reason for his anxiety, and then he says, I'm always being worried that a cat is nearby and she will come and chase me and she will eat me, she will kill me and eat me. So I'm always in anxiety, so please make me into a cat. And then the sadhu gives his benediction and converts this rat into cat, and the cat goes happily for some time. He lives happily and again come back few days later to the sadhu saying that now I'm being chased by different dogs, that they all want to come and kill me, so please make me a dog. And then sadhu obliges and he converts that cat into a dog, and the dogs goes out, lives happily for few days, returns after few days saying that I'm being chased by foxes. So make me a fox. I want to become a fox, please, so that I can live happily. And then Sadhu converts dog into fox. Fox goes out in the jungle, comes back, return after few days, saying that very looking very scared. And then Sadhu is asking, now what is the problem? He says, now I'm being chased by a tiger. So please convert me into tiger. And Sadhu gives that benediction, converts him into tiger. And then after becoming tiger, he starts saying that now I'm hungry, so I will eat you up. And then sadhu again converts him into rat. So Prabhupada says human civilization is like this. They all want to become happy. They have a problem and they are trying different things to become happy, and they are failing every time. Every time they are failing, and they will eventually become rats again. Scientific advancement, Prabhupada gives example that you created atomic bomb to kill men, and now that people will use, anybody can use any time to, and then at that time people will have to go underground and become like rats, from tiger to rat. That is going to happen. That's a nature's law. Very beautifully Prabhupada explains with the help of that story, that this is the nature of human civilization. That's why human civilization is never happy. They are never peaceful. Anybody who is not peaceful, ashantasya kutham sukham, that how can that person be ever happy? You need to be peaceful. For becoming peaceful, you need to accept your condition wherever you are, whatever your condition is, with knowledge that it has, you are landed up in this situation because of your karma. And then how you can improve, do whatever you can improve, do whatever possible to improve that present situation, but generally accept it first of all and tolerate it as well, because that's how you have chosen your destiny. That's in your prarabdha, so it is like this, it is going to remain like this. If it has to improve in your, as per your prarabdha, it will improve also, but one has to be peaceful, and then peaceful person can be happy, truly. So if you defy the law of your state, you will be put into difficulty. Similarly, if you continue to defy the authority of the Supreme Lord, you will suffer again and you will become rats. A godless civilization cannot be happy. That is a fact. Very, very categorical statement again by Prabhupada, that godless civilization cannot be happy, cannot be peaceful, because of simple reason that they don't know what is happening to them, why it is happening to them, why are they growing old, why are they may be putting up a lot of cosmetic surgeries they must be doing, or a lot of cosmetic creams they must be applying, anti-aging cream or some tablets they must be eating to have the same energy, to look young, to act like young, and so on and so forth. However, the fact remains that they don't want to get old, they don't want to get diseases, and they don't want to die, and everything is happening in front of their eyes, much against their desires. They don't want they don't want this to happen to themselves, neither for their loved ones, and they can't stop it. They can't stop it for themselves, they can't stop their loved ones departing this world as well. So there is a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of restlessness, and such civilization who is not peaceful, that cannot be happy civilization, and hence that's the result that we see in the world around us. So Prabhupada says that we have started Krishna consciousness movement to awaken this godless civilization. Chakshurunmilitam yenam tasmai shri gurve namaha om adhyana timirandhasya. This is the godless situation, awakening godless situation, and taking them from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge. Just try to love God. This is our simple request. You have to love within. You have love within you. You want to love somebody. A young boy tries to love a young girl, and young girls tries to love a young boy. Now this is natural because the loving propensity is within us, everyone, and we have to just direct it correctly at the correct place. So and so Prabhupada says further that we have created circumstances in which our love is being frustrated. Everyone is frustrated. Husbands, wives, boys, girls, everywhere there is frustration because our loving propensity, it is not being utilized properly. Why? Because we have forgotten to love the Supreme God, Supreme Person. That is our disease. And Prabhat give another beautiful example from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, second chapter, 6th verse. It is said that Savai Pumsho Paradharmo Yatho Bhaktir Adhokshaje. That the English dictionaries, the word dharma is generally translated as religion or a kind of faith. But actual meaning of dharma, Prabhupada explained, is the essential characteristic of a thing. And he gives example that of a sugar, salt, and chili. That sugar's dharma is to be sweet, salt dharma is to be salty, and the chili's dharma is to be pungent. So that is dharma. What is the dharma of human beings? Dharma of human being is to Yato Bhaktir Adhokshaje. Adhokshaje is Krishna. That performing bhakti, loving devotional service to Krishna is the dharma of every living entity. And so your essential characteristic. So Prabhupada says that what is our essential characteristic? Just like sugar, salt, and chili, Prabhupada says our essential characteristics is to want to love somebody and want to serve him. Love and service goes together. Prabhupada highlights here that everybody, love is within everyone, and currently we are redirecting it to pets, to people around us, and those who can't find people, they have dogs in their homes, and cats and turtles, and no matter whatever animal that they can find who is doing some little bit reciprocation with them, they bring those and in their homes, and then they try to love them. And in general, people are trying to love the others, the boys, the girls, the husbands and wives, the parents and the children, and everybody is trying to exchange love. What is the missing link here? Missing link is adhokshaje. Krishna is missing in this entire process. And once we bring Krishna in the center of this whole process, our love becomes fruitful. So Krishna Prabhupada says that it is essential characteristic of every soul is to love. Even we see amongst birds, a mother bird wants to protect, love and protect her children, and that we see in dogs, and a giraffe, mother giraffe and a baby giraffe. You can see these examples even in the nature. What to speak of human beings? This characteristic of loving and serving is innate within a soul, is a inseparable part of the soul. So now you love your family, you love your society, love community, love your country, and because you love them, you want to serve them. That tendency is to engage in loving service of essential characteristics of our dharma. Essential characteristics, or what is our, this is called our dharma. This is our Sanatan dharma. Now this tendency of loving and serving is misdirected, uh, and that therefore we are in problem. Now Prabhupada compare this, that brings it to the level of religion, and then say that suppose today you are Christian, tomorrow you may become Hindu, but this serving mood, loving and serving mood is common. It will always stay with you, no matter which body you change, no matter from one religion to another religion, it will always be there for you. Therefore the tendency to love and serve others is your dharma, or your religion is your true religion, universal form of religion. And that religion is first class, which train you to love God, and by this religion you will become completely satisfied. Prabhupada say that your characteristic, innate nature of every soul is to love and serve. And when you love and serve God or Krishna, you become completely satisfied. We will look at the verse 16.7. Pravrittimcha nivrittimcha jana na vidurasuraha na shaucham na api chacharo na satyam veshu vidyaye. Prabhupada, Krishna is explaining in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita the the upper and the lower part of the tree, the banyan tree which he introduced in the previous chapter, 15th chapter, the Udhamula Madhushakam. Now he's explaining the upper portion of the tree, that is the people having Daivi Prakriti, or divine qualities, divine propensities, and the lowest portion, or which is like opposite of divine, is demoniac, and the people having demoniac tendencies, demoniac propensities. So Prabhupada, Krishna is going to explain these two part of this tree as a contrast comparison. And always he'll say that this is what divine people do, these are the qualities of divine people, these are the qualities of demoniac people, this is what divine people do, and this is what people with demoniac tendencies they do. and so on and so forth. And this is going to be their destination, this is going to be their destination, and so on and so forth. So Krishna says this in the 7th verse. He's explaining that in the first 3 verses, he explains 26 qualities of divine people. And then later on, he starts explaining, talking about the people with demoniac tendencies. Now, from verse 4 to verse 24, that this chapter has about 24 verses. So all these verses, 21 verses, Krishna will predominantly speak about demoniac people, because they are in majority, so they need to be given a larger representation. Yeah, so in this particular verse, Krishna is saying that how these demoniac people with demoniac mentality act. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Pravrittim cha nivritti cha. This is like do's and don'ts, proper do's and don'ts. So Krishna saying that these people don't know what to do, what not to do. So since they don't know what to do, what is right and what is wrong, they manufacture their own thought process. As Divisha Mataji was saying that I do what my mind tells me to do, and I no need for me to be told what to do. I will figure out myself. So this is the mentality of a demoniac person, and neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in such people. Now this is the qualities the of we're still continuing to discuss the qualities of demoniac people with demoniac nature. Demoniac nature, demons inside us. They can't see the battle in my heart. They are all within us, and they're troubling us constantly. I stopped fighting my inner demons. We are on the same side now. We give up. We give up fighting those demons also sometimes. Another example we saw of demoniac tendencies within us overcoming, that Mike Tyson bit off ear of his opponent at that time he was about to lose the game of boxing. Did it live in front of everyone in Las Vegas. And then he said that my demon inside me did it, I didn't do it. The laws of life. Now the purport, Prabhupada explains, takes the same theme further that what we have discussed so far. In every civilized human society, there is a set of scriptural rules and regulations which is followed from the beginning. Those who do not follow the scriptural injunctions are supposed to be demons. So very simple, simplistic definition of who is a demon. Anybody who reject Shastra, who does not want to follow rules given by God, is a demon, because his actions are could be will be in the contrary to the instructions of the God, and God has the authority over this world. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharachara. We may not like it, just like I said, we may not like Indian government framing income tax law, but I have no choice. As long as I am here, I will end up be subjected to the laws of income tax, and the moment I go in some other country, I will be subjected to the laws of that country. It could be 25% here, it could be 30% somewhere else, and so on so forth. And I may not, in my wish, my liking does not really matter. So if I'm going to be subordinate anyway, might as well be subordinate to Krishna. This is an important point that Vikas Prabhu also made. So might as well let me be subordinate to Krishna. And I'm actually subordinate to him. I don't know the fact that I'm subordinated to him, because it is not that Indian government who is increasing my age, who is ensuring that I'm becoming old, who is transferring different diseases to me, who is sending lot different sufferings to me. Now, if I may jump a signal, I may pay fine, and that suffering is caused by my own action. But if without doing any particular thing, also without doing anything criminal, I'm also growing old, I'm also getting diseased, and I see people dying all around me. Government of India cannot stop anybody from dying, and so many people are forced to take birth as well again, and Indian government can even not stop that from happening. So the government whose rule to which we are all subjected to is Krishna's governance and Krishna's rule, Krishna's regulations, and Krishna's instructions. So these are not given in Indian Penal Code. These are not given in Indian Income Tax Act. They are not available in the Companies Act or any other act that we may choose to read. However, they are available in Bhagavad Gita. They are available in Srimad Bhagavatam. They are available through the instructions given by our superiors. That's how. Uh, that's why they are there, and that's how they will be. They are coming to us from the in the they are coming to us in the parampara. They are not manufactured by our spiritual masters also, but they have been dovetailed or told in such a way that we can understand them and implement them. That's all. So Prabhupada emphasizes in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita that this is unadulterated. Adulteration means mixing things, bringing down its purity. But unadulterated means it's pure. It's in its original form as it was delivered to Arjuna. The same theme is given to you, so that you also, if you hear attentively just like Arjuna, you should also get the same result, same benefit that Arjuna got, where Arjuna says that Karishye Vachanam Tava Nashto Mohat Smrtir Labdha Tvat Prasadan Maya Achyuta Sthitosmi Gata Sandeha Karishye Vachanam Tava. So Arjuna says this, and then that is how that should be the result of listening to Bhagavad Gita, hearing Bhagavad Gita. Karishye Vachanam Tava. So this is so Prabhupada says that therefore it is stated that the demons do not know the scriptural rules, nor they have any inclination to follow them. They do not have faith, nor they are willing to act as per the Vedic injunctions. The demons are not clean externally and internally. External clearance, Prabhupada speaks about taking bath, getting up early, and other things, and then internal cleanliness is concerned about remembrance of holy name, attentively chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. And this is one of the verse where Prabhupada has quoted full Mahamantra. In 8th chapter, there are multiple verses where Prabhupada has quoted full Hare Krishna Mahamantra multiple times in the same purport. But this is also one verse where he has done that, where he mentioned that chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The demons neither like nor follow all these rules for external and internal cleanliness. So if you happen to be one of those who don't like to chant, or who is avoiding chanting, or avoiding getting up early in the morning, bathing in the morning, bathing in the morning, and all the 4 regulative principles, they're all meant for cleanliness. They are all made you to bring you to the platform of mercy, cleanliness, and the other principles, that with truthfulness. And so these are all the valued principles in human society, and those 4 regulative principles will bring you closer to Krishna, will help you purify so that you can come to Krishna. Without purification, nobody can go close to Krishna. You are not qualified, you are not eligible, and you will not receive mercy from acharyas or devotees, so that you can go to Krishna. Krishna is their property. They can deliver Krishna to us if they see us trying sincerely. So now Prabhupada talks about later part of the purport. He talks about women, and why the instruction in women about women in Manu Samhita says that not uh, women should not be given freedom. That does not mean that women should be kept as slaves, but they should be treated like children. Now this is very nice comparison Prabhupada brings in contrary to what has been propagated, that religion want women to be kept as slaves. But Prabhupada compare it with a children example of a children, that a children, when children are protected, they are not used as slaves. That's a wrong way of looking at it. We should understand this in the principle. So Prabhupada says that the demons have now neglected such injunctions and they think that women should be given as much freedom as men. However, this has not improved the social condition of the world. Actually, a woman should be given protection at every stage of life. She should be given protection by father in young age, husband in her youth, and at a grown-up stage, she should be protected by children, her sons. The social condition of women is thus not very good now, although those who are married are in a better condition than those who are proclaiming their so-called freedom. The demons therefore do not accept any instructions which is good for society, and because they do not follow the experience of great sages and the rules and regulations laid down by the sages, the social condition of the demoniac people is very miserable. So, Prabhat speak about this particular issue where, and this is how this is so in the instructions of Manu Samhita, not everything was implemented when Prabhupada established International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Women is been given a very respectable position in the society, and that's action of Prabhupada when he established the society and when he implemented these principles in his society, are they speak for themselves. Prabhupada gave them a very, very respectable position. Vaishnavis who were following Krishna consciousness are actually at the level of soul. They, they, I mean, everybody has to rise above the understanding that they are in the male body or a female body. And they are there to understand and with conviction that they are actually spirit soul. They are part and parcel of Krishna. Their position in spiritual world could be completely different than the present bodies that they are possessing. One could be one could be in the male body, but in spiritual world he could have a female body. Just like Narottam Das Thakur had a body, was in a male body on this material world, in this material world when he came. But in the spiritual world, his Swarupa was assisting one of the principal gopis. And one of the duty that he had was to make boil milk for purpose of making kheer for Lord Krishna. So he had a female body in the spiritual world, but in the material world when he appeared in male body. So, and that could be possible for everyone, all of us, and anybody who is in female body now can have a Gopa's body in the spiritual world, or completely different. Could be a flute, could be a tree in the spiritual world, could be a flower in the spiritual world, and so on, so forth. So our present condition is not the only condition. There's not a perpetual condition. There's not a fixed condition that we are in the male body, so I will always be male everywhere, no matter in this birth, on this multiple birth lifetimes itself, our condition can change. We could be in this birth, we could be in male body or a female body. In the previous birth, which could be in other body, and in the next birth we can get another body. So these things are fungible, are changeable in this world. What to speak of going in the spiritual world? What our role will be can be completely understood at later stage. Can be completely different, can be way above the male and female distinction. So the way female women are generally treated in ISKCON or is by their propagating or identifying or highlighting their identity to become mothers. Now this is a unique privilege Krishna has given to females. No, and this is a and to by recognizing it, by appreciating it, by glorifying it, women who is even not a married right now, but eventually she can get married and she can become mother. Her motherhood is celebrated, and therefore we call everyone as matajis, because even if they are not right now matajis, eventually they can become matajis, they will become matajis. So this, and a woman can be mother throughout her life. The other identity of a woman is a sex object, and that is being propagated by Bollywood, that is being propagated by fashion industry. Now that is very insecure, that is very fearful condition for a woman to always be seen as that, rather than, rather than if they can easily carry the role that of a mother throughout her life. And this is a much better identification and much better uh, condition in which she can live peacefully during her entire life, contribute to the society, and also perform her bhakti nicely. So the objective of our existence, objective of our life, is to invoke or invoke Krishna consciousness, remembrance of Krishna in us, cultivate Krishna consciousness in us, invoke our propensity to love and serve Krishna, and work towards that, and work towards that through process of hearing and chanting. And whichever body currently we are in, we should place ourselves in such a way that we don't agitate ourselves, we don't agitate others, and at the same process, in the same way, we are contributing to the larger good of the society and making a positive contribution, and performing sadhana bhakti so that we can attain perfection at the end of our life. So this is how the women are treated extremely respectfully with a lot of respect and a lot of care within the society. And therefore they are peaceful, they are not fearful, they are peaceful, they are happy, and they are making contributions to the well-being of the society. They are making spiritual advancements, and they are going back to Krishna. They are on their way going back to Krishna. Whereas in contrast to this, the rest of the world, who treat women primarily as object of sexual sex, there everybody is insecure. You can't look good for all your life. Even if you're looking good, somebody else can look good, and you're always anxious, you're always fearful, you're always insecure, and you cannot be happy. So again, this point keep coming up in the discussion of Bhagavad Gita, as well as various Prabhupada purports. But Prabhupada has been very categorical and in his understanding, and providing that understanding time and again. So we all need to understand that also point very clearly. In summary, the laws of the material world is a dark place full of ignorance, and we need a spiritual master to take us towards light. The light means Lord Krishna and his instruction. That is the light that we are discussing. If anyone ignore these instructions and try to live according to their whims and fancies, then they are breaking the laws and need punishment. So there are laws to be followed by enacted for by our laws. Could be applicable to our family, law could be applicable to our society, state, country, and there are laws at humanity level. And above all of this, there are laws of God. Krishna has given those laws that Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, these are laws. And when we all function under the influence of those laws, there is a time that nobody can stop. There is a sun who will rise every day. With every sunrise we see, our age reduces, our age increases, our life balancing life reduces. So this is nobody can stop sun from rising, so that I stay at my present age forever. Now that cannot happen. So one should be one is actually under the one is subordinate to the laws of God. And so hence one should anyway, if one is subordinate, might as well become wholeheartedly aligned with God, aligned with the instructions of God, so that we don't do anything to the contrary to the instructions given by God. So we should learn those instructions of God which are there in Bhagavad Gita. We should and in Srimad Bhagavatam, and we should follow those instructions, live peacefully and happily. So this is this is what the people with divine mentality will do. But people with demoniac mentality will do the opposite. For every law they will try to break. And with every law broken, a suffering comes searching for them and catch hold of them. So without um, so 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 obviously they are suffering. They, at times, they don't even know that they are suffering. They have to be really told by shaking them up, by by provoking them, uh, by provoking them to learn about their own suffering condition. And then that can be done by devotees, that can be done by it can happen by the mercy of Krishna, and through devotees, they can help a soul wake him up from the slumber of ignorance, and then his journey towards Krishna can begin from then onwards. So those who get this instruction, who good get this mercy from devotees and Lord Krishna, should make most of this opportunity by wholeheartedly following the teachings of Krishna consciousness and go back to Godhead. The facility we have for hearing and chanting is japa in the morning and reading sessions in the evening of Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We all should uh, wholeheartedly participate in these activities and perfect our life in one lifetime itself. Go to any question and answers, if any. Yeah, let me go to the chat box. Yes, Swapnil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, my question is not particularly with respect to, we all understand that laws are very important, and you have very explicitly explained that, and we all take it forward. My question is, my first of all, my submission is, like, for example, we can compare it with the rule set by Lakshman Rekha by Lakshman for Sita Devi, that this is the Lakshman Rekha set for you, for your protection, and be within that line, you will be unharmed. Probably that was the message given, even that if we say that Lakshman Prabhu set up a rule to for the safeguard, same way the rules and regulations are set for our own protection. My question and my submission is here that uh, there are people who are standing outside that line. So, for example, the rules and regulations, when I follow, I am in a Krishna consciousness, the rules and regulations are within that. Once I have the Krishna consciousness, or if I am outside the Krishna consciousness, I mean, that dilemma a lot of times is there. So can you please uh, give a brief thought on that, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So as we say that we are in Krishna consciousness or we are out of Krishna consciousness. Now we must understand that it's a continuous process. This is not like 0-1 state, that it is, am I 0 or am I 1, 0-1, 0-1. And so it's not a 0-1 kind of a scenario. It's not a black and white scenario where there is absolute clarity. So it's so this is a continuous state, and at times in the morning we can have. So in general, broadly, the 4 principles should be followed. They are not that difficult to be followed. People living in all parts of the world are following it. We have temples from San Francisco to New Zealand, the entire world. We have worldwide. We have, this is a worldwide movement truly, and everybody, we see people in every part of this world are easily able to adapt to these situations. These 4 regulatory principles, no one has. We've had Bhagavad Gita distributed in Antarctica. We have temples in Tokyo. We have temples in America. All parts of the countries, Africa. We have, so nowhere we've heard that it's difficult to follow. One of the regulatory principle is difficult to follow. So those are kind of a non-negotiable choices. So one is that. The other than that are the processes of hearing and chanting. Now with the availability of internet everywhere, Now that is also something that is in our mobile, that is in our machine, that is in our laptop, that is there in our desktop, or we can carry it form of books. So the following of Krishna consciousness principles is not that difficult at all. And again, it's a process. We would have started 1 year back, 2 years back, or few years back, and there it's still a work in progress where we are becoming fixed in Krishna consciousness, where we where every day morning. So it's one is this following this as a matter of head, as a matter of heart, and but eventually accepting it as a matter of heart also. So eventually, when you sleep at night, if you feel very excited that you have to get up tomorrow morning and join japa, then then your heart is involved as well, apart from head. So you performing it with head will make you diligent, but performing it with heart will make you happy, because you'll look forward to get up in the morning and join japa session, doing your rounds, wherever you get a chance, opportunity, free time, flying time, where you, instead of getting getting into useless discussions or of gossiping about others, you choose to pull out your bead bag and do some extra rounds, or hear to some class that you might have had missed, or catch up on some Prabhupada, listening to Prabhupada lectures, or any devotional activity in your free time where no one is watching you, can become possible only if it is coming from your heart. So it's not a 0-1 process, and from head to heart is also a journey. Though it may it could be a small journey, but it's a important journey that we all have to travel. Initially, right, when we are new to Krishna consciousness, we follow it more with our head. Just like we pay income tax every year, we try and follow all the regulative principles to the extent we can, and at times with small thing going up and there, we consult devotees, yet he cannot, what he cannot. And so that this is a matter of head. That's important. Eventually, they just become ingrained in us. We just lose desire to have intoxication, we just lose desire for gambling, we just lose desire to only for meat eating. And it's not that we could have enjoyed those things in past as well, but possibly, but now, after having um, followed the Krishna consciousness process for some time, we actually lose taste for intoxication and for gambling and for meat eating and for having illicit relationship. We don't look, obviously our values change in this case, and then we don't look at those things, people, those who are doing these things, with very high regards. We see them as a suffering soul, because we neither do it ourselves, nor we appreciative of those people who are doing this kind of a thing. So that is going to happen, and that will be the change that we all should be desirous of seeing in ourselves, because then you will become fixed in the Krishna consciousness. Instead of 0-1, you become steady with 1 and then move forward in the Krishna consciousness process. So it's a continuous process. There could be ups and downs that you may experience, but in general, you will be in one of the particular modes that you'll be in. So that way I can explain. So hope this is helpful, Swapnil Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. I mean, it helps definitely. Only here dilemma is that we are all, I mean, for that sake, I can say myself that I am a conditioned soul. We have been brought up with so many exposures, before we entered into Krishna consciousness. And then that dilemma always carries, like what you rightly said, that gambling is totally prohibited, and it's rightly said. But we have seen this as a part of culture in our family, that during Diwali, the male members of the family used to sit, and it was a sort of a a time pass or a get together, and
Tradition.
they used to do, yeah, it's like a tradition.
Tradition.
And yes, in Mahabharata also we have seen that whole of the Mahabharata was created because of the gambling event, what we saw. And we saw that lot of eventualities happened because of gambling. But now I am conditioned soul. It takes, for example, it takes lot of time that I'll be always trying to willfully, or that willingness has to be conditioned, and it takes time for that. So probably I hope in way of improvement, I'm always been guided with your nectarian thoughts and your sessions. But I will definitely try to, and I'll be honest with myself, because that is the first step towards Krishna consciousness, that you have to be honest to yourself. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for candid, being truthful, being honest, being humble. All this is, very much visible and very much we can experience. And thank you for being so truthful. And that's true. And it could be gambling for you. It could be something else for someone else. It could be meat eating for someone else. It could be onion garlic for somebody. What to speak of meat eating? uh, People struggle too hard to give up onion garlic now. So it could be, we all have different hooks through which we get attached to the material world. In the last session we saw a slide that the mouse trap or a fish get caught in the hook, and there and all of us have created different hooks through our previous indulgences, and those impressions are very strong, and we've had good time. It's not that we were suffering when we were those who used to enjoy meat eating in past. They can, if they recall their those days, they will see that they were also happy then. They used to look forward to, just like how we talk, we look forward to chant wherever we get opportunity. We look forward to hear Prabhupada Katha. They all look forward to those days when they can eat meat or whatever their favorite. So those days they actually enjoyed those, and those memories are still strong with them, and they become their hook. And every one of us have such hooks, and we just need to work on each of those. And the easy way to get rid of all of those is by getting attached to Krishna, by getting developing loving affection for Krishna. Because when Krishna comes, jethe Krishna tethe nahi maya adhikar, all those things will immediately vanquish, will get vanished in no time, without our effort, without our having to try and remove one by one all of those. Because this is one, this could be one, there could be one more, there could be one more hidden, and when you think you've taken care of this, the second one pops up. And that could be the case with many of us. And each one of us have to really work hard on those aspects. But simultaneously, if you work hard on getting attached to Krishna, developing love for Krishna, developing liking for Krishna, becoming affectionate towards Krishna, then these things will be dealt with by Krishna himself. And then he can remove anarthas from our heart very easily, without our realization. We will just lose the taste. And then from then onwards we will not be troubled by those uh, things of past. Our past will not haunt us. Okay. Hare Krishna. Vikas Rauji, yes, you had a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. No, I don't have any question, Prabhuji, but Swapnil Prabhuji asked a very beautiful question, and you have replied it in that very great, elaborate manner. And though the session itself was very enriching, like the why the rules are actually required, and why at the end we feel like somewhere I was recollecting when you was explaining all about that why rules are required, and that Srila Prabhupada explains that the devotional service, which may seem bitter at the beginning, but is relishable and is full of pleasures in at the end when it culminates. But the materialistic pleasures, though they may seem at the end that they are very relishable and very good, but at the end they are the cause of miseries. So, and even you also covered this beautiful point in one of your session, So it was just like full of those nectars and the misconceptions that are in the society about the women's. And you beautifully through the lecture of Srila Prabhupada cleared that air, that how respectful position has been given to the women's, and that is not the question that their freedom, they are bereft of their freedom, rather they are under the great protection, care and respectable position in the society, as if we follow the Vedic injunctions. So it is always nectarian to hear all those kind of discourses, though we may not, at least I can talk about myself, that I may not understand it through bare reading of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, but when the devotees like you and Narottam Prabhuji explains, that gives more and more relishment and kind of understanding that yes, this is the true meaning and this is the way it should be perceived and should be propagated. Like sometimes people get bewildered with the verse that comes in hopefully ninth chapter, where Krishna says Striya Vaishyas Tha Shudras. Then they misinterpreted that here the women, they are explained that they are in the like so-called some demean position, but it is not the situation. So that only can be understood when we are actually studying the Shastras under the guidance. And at times become fearful that it is the 16th chapter, and after that 17 and 18 are left, and then what will be happening to our Sundays? So I'll request you to plan something good for the upcoming future, so that we can always be relishing these nectarian sessions, your nectarian sessions of yours. And I could also remember one thing from the Japa session, as Swapnil Prabhuji was asking that the miseries are like this and the dilemmas are coming in the mind. So Bhurijan Prabhuji makes it very beautiful point that the dust on our heart and in the mind, it may be of kilometers long, but as he beautifully submitted that we need to be honest in the Krishna consciousness, and to the honest, just by chanting one name of Krishna very honestly and very faithfully, that kilometers dust can be eradicated. Otherwise it takes time, though even if we are not honest, or we are in the mayhem or in a some dilemma situation, then also it takes time, but it is eradicated. But ultimately the association of devotees who always keeps enriching us with the nectar of nectar of the verses, nectar which is mentioned in the Vedic injunctions, that is so beautiful that it is always relishable. And I was looking at the clock that it is just 12:30 and Prabhuji is giving the summary. Rather, it used to be around 1, and we won't be able to relish the half an hour more of that session. So I was thinking like that. So it is always great to hear and understand the Vedic injunctions from you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for your beautiful endeavors, your wholehearted endeavors, your uninterrupted endeavors. Thank you very much. Humble obeisances to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. See if we have any more questions. Nothing in the chat box.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, how to differentiate between acting as per Lord Krishna's instructions and acting as per our nature? Like Lord Krishna has said to Arjuna that being a Kshatriya, you need to fight. But that was a direct instructions given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. But how a human being can differentiate? Like if we are in Krishna consciousness, so we really do not know that whether we are acting as per our nature or we are receiving instructions from Lord Krishna.
So thanks, Mataji, for very nice question. So you can you can imagine two circles, and one circle is where we are, what we are good with, or what our nature is, what we are, basis our skills, abilities, and qualities that we all possess, of physical nature that we have, psycho physical nature that we all have. So we are kind of good, become good in something or the other. Somebody becomes good in accounting, somebody can become good in your computer programming, and so on. Somebody can become good in a good artist, and somebody can become good in sports, somebody can become good in some singing and some other activities. So based on our psychophysical nature, based on our talent, skills, abilities that are given by Krishna, we become good at certain, naturally good at certain things. Then there are instructions by devotees and various engagements that are getting created by the for the purpose of this for the purpose of serving the society. So Prabhupada created a society and which can have require, which can accommodate, or which will have which will require everything that is there required in the rest of the world. So if somebody is has ability to sing, and society has a requirement for singing Krishna's bhajans or Krishna's, there could be a Sankirtan movement where you can take up a different slot and sing for Krishna. So they can get intersected. So these two circles of what Krishna needs and what we possess, these two circles can get intersected at this stage where our skills and Krishna, what Krishna want or what devotees want to implement can get intersected, and then that's where we can contribute to the best of our abilities. So if you are good in say singing, and there is a need for some devotees to sing from say 4 to 5 in temple hall, and then you can take up that service. Now this is a best fit that we can say we may have at times, and that's where you are most comfortable because you are doing what you like, and this is required. This is required because there has to be a 24-hour sankirtan has to happen in the temple in front of deities. So at 4 o'clock when deities open, somebody should be there singing. If somebody is there singing uh, live nice kirtan for Lord's pleasure, that's good. Otherwise, they will, what they will do, they will play cassettes, they will play some records. So live sankirtan is always better than playing records. So here, the what you possess and what the society need, they intersect, and there's that's where you can contribute to the best of your ability very naturally. But at times, what we have and what service is available, that may not, there may not be a perfect match always possible. So one may not be very good in leadership, but one may get a opportunity to lead devotees. One may not be a good speaker. Personally, I was a very shy person. I was introvert person. I did not spoke at public forums ever. Very rarely, I probably would have spoken on public forums. So, but when the service was there for me to speak, we started this by taking classes for the new Secret of Success. Whenever the Secret of Success, the new devotees would come to our classes. We used to give them, teach them about introduction, the preface, and introduction to Bhagavad Gita. So when the need was there, irrespective of what my strong points are, when the service was there, I accepted it. And that is how we should treat the service to be, because service is there. Whenever service is given, that is required and that is pleasing to Krishna the most. When you need water, you don't need to be given sharbat, because when you need water, you need to be given water, and then you become most satisfied. So you need the soup is also liquid, sarbat is also liquid, water is also liquid. If when you ask for water, we are extremely thirsty, you just want water, you don't want soup, or you don't want to drink sarbat. So what is needed most, if you can help that at that time, I think that is satisfying most for Krishna and his devotees both. And if that happens to be in line with what you possess, what skills and abilities that you have, then that is the best fit. But even if it is not a best fit, we should still do it. For example, book distribution is something that we all would have probably never done something like this. Stand on the street and try to sell something. But that is, Prabhupada want it. Krishna wants it. Krishna wants Bhagavad Gita to reach each and every home. So we should do it. Now, it might not be our strong skill. We may not have any skills for that, but we should go out and distribute Bhagavad Gita standing on the streets, and or we should contribute, help devotees who are doing it. But we should step out. We should step out of our comfort zone and do it, even though we this might not be our very strong skill set, that we may not have that, but we should still do it nevertheless. So I hope I've been able to clarify your doubt, Jyoti.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. So it should be basically in alignment with Krishna. So whatever we
Yes,
are doing.
absolutely. Yes. So whatever he wants, whatever devotees want, devotees are implementing his will. So whatever devotees want to engage us in, we should do to the best of our abilities. At times, Krishna will give us ability also. Krishna will give us inspiration also. Krishna will give us get things done from us. So when Krishna says that nimitta matra bhava savyasachi, so now it's not that Arjuna didn't had skills, but still Krishna is saying that you become nimitta matra. Now there's no ego for Arjuna. No, no, I too could have won on my own only, but that is not the case. Without Krishna, Arjuna could not have even won the war. So Arjuna may consider himself as an expert archer, but without Krishna's mercy, he could not have fought that war and won it. So Krishna says that nimitta matra bhavasa visachi. So though the service that was given to Arjuna was according to his nature, according to his skill set, without Krishna's mercy, even that was not possible. So there also Krishna is saying, you are only a nimitta matra. You are only a nimitta matra, nemitic. Everything is done by my mercy, by my will. So that's the real nature. That's the real thing. That even if we may get a service of our choice, but we are able to fulfill it by Krishna's mercy only. So that should be our mode. So hence it doesn't matter really which service is given to us, whether it is according to our liking or not liking. We should simply do it, thinking that Krishna will get it successful. If it has to become successful, Krishna has to contribute. Or if Krishna does not want you to be successful, then it could be according to your liking. It may still be unsuccessful. It can still become unsuccessful if Krishna does not want it to be successful. So whatever Krishna wants, we should be prepared to do. As simple as that.
Yeah, Prabhuji, thank you so much for this wonderful explanation. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. So no more questions. So we'll end today's session. And thank you everyone for joining and staying back for 2 hours. We will continue with our discussion on this topic in the coming Sunday. In the meantime, there will be a lot of opportunities for book distribution. There should be some book distribution happening in nearby area. You'll have a lot of opportunities. The ISKCON Bhiwandi has created nice website. You can buy in small quantities, as small as 1 Bhagavad Gita, 2 Bhagavad Gita, get it delivered wherever you want, or you can donate in bulk towards the free Bhagavad Gita distribution to people around, and there also you can contribute. So get engaged in reading Bhagavad Gita, get engaged in distributing Bhagavad Gita, and stay Krishna conscious throughout the week until we meet on next Sunday. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great Krishna conscious week ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandvat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat.